Give them a ton of credit. You know, we talked about their three-point shooting ability from, in particular, those two guys, Minette and Burke. Burke's one of the few players that I know of that's made 10 threes in a game. He's really developed his game during his redshirt year as well, being able to put the ball on the bounce. Played in a program at Campbell that ran the Princeton offense, so he's a great cutter off the ball. We talked about that. He got us on a couple back cuts as well. And Minette, obviously, sixth man of the year last year. Very, very talented player, really good guard. Their guards, those two guys obviously dominated the game. You know, we gave them some early good looks. And when you do that with shooters, then all of a sudden they start making some tough ones, and that's exactly what happened. We had some missed coverages on our no help off those two guys that led to some open threes and actually led to a couple fouls too and got us in foul trouble early. So we were just on our heels the whole time defensively, not defending the way we needed to defend. Obviously, I don't think we're rebounding as well as we need to rebound as well. And then, you know, offensively, we're struggling. We're struggling to kind of get an identity of how we need to play, how well our guys need to play. And that's something, obviously, that we need to really, really address during this off week right now. Kind of reset and recalibrate a little bit. Kind of planned on how we were going to play for 6 months. We're not going to be able to play that way. So, you know, some guys need to step up. There's no question about that. But, you know, in this process that we're under, you're going to have some tough days. And that's, you know, if you want all the positives and accolades from the coaching staff and the players, then you also got to take the heat when the heat comes, and that's where we're at right now. You know, everybody thought it was kind of just going to be easy and just go out there, but that ain't the way it works. That ain't the way it works. That's why it's hard to build something great, because it's not a linear process. There's ups and downs. There's bad days and good days, and it's usually the ones that stick to it. It's usually the ones that stay disciplined to what we do. I've said it time and time again, this is a program that believes in what you're doing on a daily basis in terms of your work habits, your practice habits. And it's no secret, if we're playing like that, what would you assume? That's a question. Anybody know? If we're playing that way, what would you assume? We're not practicing well. If you see it in the game, you see it in practice. And we're not practicing very well right now. And you've seen it in the game. And that's just something that we need to get back to being who we are when it comes to our practice habits, our defensive habits, and getting better on the offensive end as well.
Coach, Minette and Burke were great tonight. Was their shot making a product of them hitting tough shots or the defense?
I think we gave some easy ones early. And when you got guys that have the freedom to take those shots, then all of a sudden even some tough ones go in. There was a couple banks in there. And then all of a sudden, you know, every scramble, every loose ball, all of a sudden the ball ends up in their hands. You know, it's like a perfect storm when you're in that situation. And we didn't have the kind of grit to stick with what we needed to do and try to grind one out, you know. And that's a little disappointing, because we should have the experience, especially amongst some guys, to be able to do that, and we didn't. And then, you know, I mean, even with the threes, it was some of those other back-breaking plays. You know, when you give up, you know, some open drives to the basket, when you give up those back cuts, those are big plays. Those are big plays, because they don't have to work. They didn't have to work for that, you know. What were they from the three in the second half? Only 2 of 7, right? Is that right?
They were pretty good in the first half.
Yeah, 8 for 12. But it's a 2-point game. It's a 2-point game at halftime. So if you take a look at the big picture, it wasn't the threes that beat us.
Right.
You know, they outscored us 32-17 in the second half. Only 6 of those points came from the three. It was the other stuff. It was the other stuff, and that's what I'm talking about. You have to stick with how we play, you know, and you know, we didn't do that. We didn't
Coach,
do that.
did you think that 2 quick fouls took David out of the game kind of?
Yeah, that's his, you know, second straight game. We had JB got those 2 quick ones against BC. Tried to put him back in the first half, and then, you know, just didn't feel comfortable after a minute or so. Tried to, you know, get him revved up a little bit in the second half, but just never got into a rhythm tonight. Never got into a rhythm.
Who are some of those guys that you feel need to step up?
How many guys are on the team? Every single one, every member of the coaching staff, everybody. You know, we dug ourselves out of a hole together. All right, to get to a point where there's some positiveness with the program finally. You know, and we're in this place right now together, and so we got to dig our way out of it. You know, as I said, that's why building what we want to build is hard, because it's not going to be a steady climb. It just never is. You take a look at every program, that's just not the way it works. You know, today was a bad day from the start. Starting lineups, they got the women's thing going on, so it was shit from the start. Excuse my language.
Coach, obviously, you're missing some guys, and it would be a lot, maybe a different circumstance if you had Kerr. Do you have any update on Kerr?
Yeah, so Megan, with his situation, I met with him earlier this week, and just in a kind of a mutual decision, he's going to look at some different options, either go play professionally or possibly look at, you know, going to another school. He's going to finish out this semester. He's one of our players. He's getting our unwavering support and everything, but that's kind of the update on that. And that's, you know, overall, I mean, those things, you know, in terms of not having some guys, that's college basketball. Take a look around, you know, and when that happens, it puts you in a tailspin. But we got to be able to respond better than we did these last 2 games. We definitely have to do that.
Anybody else?
All good? All right, guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.